You saw the grain mill being built.
Or maybe you didn't, but now it's not important because I'm about to say everything wrong with it.
So I decommissioned the grain mill.
You did?
Yeah.
First of all, why are the rollers so big? Everyone knows you get more mechanical advantage with the smaller roller. These rollers aren't even stainless. Well, I did try to clad them with a piece of stainless tubing, but it didn't work. You want rust in your grain? Don't tell me it's iron fortified. Making the housing out of 4 separate pieces took forever. That diagonal set screw hole thing wasn't even necessary. And furthermore, why did you bother making the shafts yourself when you could have just bought them? And why did you design this entire grain mill around these bearings that are terrible that you found in the street instead of buying good bearings? These holes in the corners of the hopper caused grain to leak out. Also, this big window pocket in the side of the housing caused grain to leak out. The spacing adjustment was a pain in the ass. The thing didn't work half the time and the spacing would drift, and having to adjust each side independently, you get like diagonal spacing. Did I mention the bearings were terrible? This flat part at the bottom of the hopper was annoying to clean up because grain would just sit on there and not going into the rollers. And why does it have to be a nutcracker? It only really worked with hazelnuts. This stand was an atrocity. It was like the biggest afterthought. And I love how I said, the roller is easily interchangeable. I made it so this roller is easily interchangeable, then proceeding to take off like 6 different bolts and like 3 set screws just to get the freaking housing apart. Are you done yet? It's time to build. Welcome to the new grain mill build. Since this one is smaller, I decided to machine it out of a solid block of stainless instead of 4 separate pieces. This would be easier and more accurate. Right away, I machined a step on both ends to make it mountable from the top, instead of having to screw it in from the bottom like last time. To avoid the confusion of the spacing, I decided to make it fixed at 1 inch. This way the second roller could be easily gear driven. I drilled, bored, and reamed the bearing holes all the way through from one side. And since I'm using flange bearings, the holes can go all the way through the wall of the housing, which is easier than having to machine a counterbore for a press fit, and also leaves fewer surfaces for grain dust to accumulate on. I milled out the interior cavity from the bottom face, then machined a slot in the top. I then tilted the setup 45 degrees and beveled the slot to assist with the grain flow. Next, I drilled and tapped some holes in the top for the hopper, and a couple screw holes on either side to secure the bearings, which weren't really necessary, but I wanted the added security. I tried making knurled rollers like last time, but the stainless was tougher and resisted a good knurl. Not entirely satisfied, I decided to make a set of splined rollers as well, which always looks impressive. The 2 sets of rollers are slightly different in diameter, which will come in handy later with different sizes of grain. The idea is with fixed spacing, you adjust the gap by making different size rollers. For the final pieces, the gears needed set screw holes drilled and tapped in them, which is a good thing I didn't buy the hardened versions. Like before, there's an adapter to fit the big cast iron handle onto the shaft, and an additional set screw collar, though only one was needed this time since the gears retain the shafts on the opposite side. For the hopper, I was originally planning to use trash can stainless like before, but I found a good piece of stainless plate and welded a nicer one. This time it is angled to feed the grain directly into the slot instead of onto a flat floor. The stand ended up being just a more thought out version of the old one. This time the top is made from channel iron, and the posts are singular pieces of wood instead of 3 stacked together. The holes and pocket were all machined for good alignment. Lastly, I lined the opening in the stand with aluminum foil, at least temporarily, so that the grain wouldn't contact the bare metal. And yes, I used the same hole pattern so I didn't have to drill more holes in my desk. It's time to build. Free pizza is what we do this for. Yes, that is the same handle from last time. The $2 garage sale cast iron special. But now we come to the payoff when the leverage is super good. And the gearing. Yes, I know those gears are on backwards, but forget about that for now. Let's grind. Very good. Now, the first thing I notice in comparison to the old grain mill is it takes a lot more spinning, which makes sense because instead of a 2.5-inch diameter, we only rock in the 1 inch. So it takes more spinning to get the same amount of surface footage. Secondly, I love it. It's so easy. Look at that. So minor details, we have to remove the hopper to switch out the roller, but thanks to some clever notching, we only have to actually remove 2 of the screws all the way. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. While we're here, we might as well test what it's like with one splined roller and one knurled roller. I was thinking that with the splined roller it would come out looking like steel cut oats, because it's not really a roller, it's kind of cutting it. And that looks to be the case right now. And the sound is so much more satisfying, I'm gonna be honest. So, part 3 with both splined rollers. For those that don't know the broken Allen wrench trick, it's called vice grips. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. What's happening? The spacing is too aggressive for this type of grain, but there are other sizes of grain that would probably be suited. So I accidentally did myself a favor by making 3 different spacing options unintentionally. Because we got these 2 is probably the widest. We've got 1 of each, which is the medium, and then 2 of those is the small. Cool. So with some convincing, I did manage to get all of the grain through. I'm supposing if I had a smaller grain like einkorn, it would be a lot more suited to both spline rollers. Here we have some einkorn. This is a smaller relative of wheat, smaller grain that is, where the hard red wheat was about 90 to 115 thousandths of an inch. These are almost half the size. roughly a 1/16 of an inch wide. There, look how precise that is, only 5/10 off. So we'll see how the double spline roller configuration works, since it is a smaller gap. That sure looks like steel cut oats if I ever seen it. So I did strawberries to this one. Yum yum.
Greensandmachines.com